Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to do a little story time and tell you about my experience with foster care. So I'll just start off right off the bat telling you that I was 14 when I went into foster care, and I went into foster care mainly because I had a lot of problems at home and it was just really bad, and it was just best for me to go into foster care. I won't go into further detail yet about necessarily what I've been through. However, if you're curious about what exactly I went through, I will talk about that in a future video, but this is basically to just tell you about my experience with foster care. So without further ado, I'll go on with that. Well, right away I went into the child's receiving home, and I was there for about a month, and then I was placed into my first foster home where I met these two wonderful women who are still a big part of my life, and I love them so much, and they are great. And so basically it was a great experience in that foster home, and I met one of my really good friends that I still have to this day as well from that foster home, and they really genuinely cared about my well-being and about how I did for my future as far as like school. So it was a great experience, and I ended up leaving that foster home because they were retiring. I believe that was why. And I went on to my next foster home, which was in another area, and it was a woman who lived with her mother, and it was two little girls, me and a girl who was about, I want to say like 6-7 months older than I was, maybe 8 or 9 in that general region, the age gap. But I got along really well with my older foster sister and the young girls. I thought they were adorable. But I noticed that I was not able to get along at all with the foster mom's mom, because she was just very strict. She depicted everything I did as far as cleaning, how I did things like with myself, and I just felt very uncomfortable with that. And I know that my foster mom herself, she meant well and she really did try, but it was a lot of factors. Like, I was starting to be kind of, I don't want to say judged, but almost shamed for wanting to spend time with my boyfriend and just wanting to spend time with his family as well, because when I did do that, it was always an issue, and she wanted me to spend more time with her and with their family, which I feel like I did do that, but it just was never good enough, and it was a really bad and negative vibe. And yeah, and I think there was another issue, like, that I would have had to change schools, and I wasn't trying to go to another high school when I was only, I think, ending my sophomore year or so. And it's like, I don't want to switch another school, and it's like 3 schools in a matter of 2 years. That's like a lot of like moving around, and I don't want to do that because I want to stay where my friends are that I've made. And so I ended up moving to another foster home, and from there I was able to stay with my school, and I actually really enjoyed that house. It was a foster dad, foster mom, and me and 3 other girls, and I still sometimes talk to those 3 girls here and there. And the foster parents were really nice. They were awesome. And they really did care about all of us girls and made sure we were taken care of, and there was always dinner ready, and we always received our allowances, which to me that was a big thing, because as I'll say later on in another part of this story, I did not always receive my allowance in other foster homes, and I'll go on about that in the next couple foster homes. So after a little bit of time, I noticed that in this foster home that I'm talking about now, that things would go really, really great, and I did enjoy my time there, but I felt like maybe there was an underlying issue between my foster parents, or maybe that was just me and how I was interpreting I can't say that word, I'm sorry, interpreting, I believe that's how you say it, the situation. But they ended up retiring, and I was trying to find another foster home, so I did, and ended up moving to another area. And the foster home that I ended up going to was, in my experience, not great. It was the worst foster home that I've had in this story so far. I say that for a couple reasons. The first reason was is really, really messy. I spent a good 3 to 4 hours cleaning the room I was supposed to sleep in, just to be able to sleep in there. Like, it was really, really dirty, and I felt like that was something that should have been taken care of beforehand, before I actually went there. It was just a really unsanitary environment for me to be in there, and I'm surprised for the child that was in that home to be in, because there was a child that was in the process of being adopted. And in my opinion, it's like, you should always take care of your house and make sure it's clean, especially for, there's children involved, and that living in those conditions is very unsanitary and like a big health risk. And I felt very like that was a big red flag to me, that I came in the house and it was like so dirty, and I spent so much time not only cleaning the room I was sleeping in, but cleaning the kitchen, cleaning the living room all the time, like the backyard I would always like have to clean. And I'm not saying that it was a problem that I had to clean. It was just like, to the extent that I did clean was like really crazy to me. And then the next thing that I noticed, which is kind of silly, would be an issue with food. I came in and there was not a whole lot of food, and it got to a point where I would ask my foster mom, hey, can I have some money to go get some food to eat? Or hey, can I get some money so I can go up to the store and get us some food? Because I noticed there's not a lot of food. And it's not like she didn't have any food, but the food that she did have did not look good. It was like expired, and I didn't want to risk eating that, because it's like, that's my health right there. I'll get sick, and I'd rather not get sick. So that was a big thing. And then the third and final thing was my allowance. As a lot of foster kids know, that you are entitled to an allowance every month, and it should be a certain amount. And I noticed that a lot of the time I was not receiving my allowance, and when I did, it was in little amounts, not anywhere near where anything I can use. And that was another red flag to me, because it was always an issue. I would always ask her, hey, can I have my allowance? And it'd be like a week after when I was supposed to have it, and she's like, oh yeah, I'll get it to you, and it's like, I have to keep asking her. And a lot of the time it's like, she'll give me just a couple bucks here and there, and it's like, you know, what like what's happening, you know? Because that's not how things are supposed to be. And all of those things I brought to my social worker's attention and told her that those were all happening, and she was just like, that's not okay, so let's figure something out. And from there, I went on to my next foster home, which had a foster dad, a foster mom, 2 foster sisters, and it was like, I want to say it was the foster mom's like biological daughter. I want to say that's who that other person was. But I did, for a little bit of time, get along with that foster family, but things just seemed to get like uncomfortable to a point where I would be scared to even be myself. Like, I would walk on eggshells around, feeling like I'm being judged and being looked at like I'm doing something wrong. And it's like, I felt so uncomfortable and like odd being there. Just, I felt like I couldn't be myself, and I felt just so, so it's hard to describe that feeling, but that's how I felt. And this foster family, they didn't want me to see my boyfriend as much as I did. They didn't want me to do other things. They wanted me to be more involved with them. And I felt like when someone tells me I can't see my boyfriend or see his family, that's a big deal to me, because they were were and have been a big part of my life for a very long time now. And they're more than just my boyfriend's family. They're my family now, and have been since, I was 11 years old. Since before I even went into foster care, they have been a big part of my life, and I've been a big part of their life. And it's like, you can't take someone who has such important people in their life away from them, who've done nothing but help that person and nurture that person along the way in their life. And that was not okay to me. And it got to a point where I did talk to my social worker and tell her everything, that my feelings, how I felt. And it may sound like I maybe didn't give them enough of a chance, but in my experience, it was not a good situation that I really could endure anymore. And that's not even just the extent of what happened in that household. I noticed another instance where a lot of my stuff would come up missing, or come up like damaged or rearranged when I would leave the house and then come back, and that it was a continuous thing, and I was not okay with that. So I ended up moving from that foster home to another one, which was my final one, and it was a woman who was in a relationship with her boyfriend, I believe, and he would stay there here and there. Like, I barely saw him. But she was really, really nice, and I really loved that home. I also her niece stayed with her, which I got along really well with her niece. Like, she's so down to earth. I wish I still had contact with her niece because of how well we did get along. But I really thoroughly did enjoy that household. I felt like I could honestly talk to my foster mom, and I felt like I actually fit in, and things were going okay a lot of the time. And I stayed in that house till I emancipated or aged out of the system. And it was like a bittersweet moment when I left her house, because I know she was actually a really good foster home to me and a good foster parent to me. And yeah, so that was my experience as far as foster care. After I aged out of the system, I moved in with my boyfriend, and I've been with my boyfriend since I was 14, right before I got, not right before, I want to say 8 months before I got into foster care, I got with my boyfriend, and I'm still with him to this day. And he's been a big part of my life, and I don't know where I'd be without him and his family's support along my side through all of this and this craziness. And it's definitely not been easy, and I know I haven't had it the hardest. I know a lot of foster children go through way worse than what I've gone through, will probably continue in the future going through way harder things than what I've been through. But this is just my experience of what I've gone through, and I just wanted to reach out to anybody who feels like, they're stuck and they don't have anyone to talk to about maybe a similar situation, or something that they're going through, a hard time. I'm a really good listener, and anybody can reach out to me if they need to or want to, because life isn't easy, and sometimes you just need a friend to talk to. And just know that I'm here, and if anybody wants to talk to me, or has a comment, question, or anything, you can let me know and leave that below in the comment section. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see some of you guys back in the future. So definitely subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.